Hello, everybody. Welcome to On the Capo Stand on this Monday night. As you can see, David is not with us tonight. He is taking a well deserved vacation. The man's been working his tail off, to say the least, all over the East Coast of the United States. So, with us tonight, I'm glad to have my friend Ahmed Salim with us. Ahmed, how you doing tonight?
Good, John. How are you, man?
Doing
Good to be
well,
here.
doing well. Would have been better if Saturday went better.
I think we all would
Um,
have been better.
yeah, yeah. So let's hop right into it. We go to Salt Lake City away, who's been struggling two wins all season for them at home. They just got a new signing, the LAFC legend. Um, Help me with his name, Ahmed. You say it
Chicho,
better than myself.
Chicho Arango. Chicho
Yes.
Arango.
Goal scoring machine for LAFC. He leaves LAFC, um, comes back to the MLS to join Salt Lake. And we're going in with a chance to take over fourth place solo, be 1 point. I believe the way the matches fell, we would have been 1 point if we would have won out of third place. So we would have been sitting fourth solo. And then the match happened. Ahmed, I'll let you break it down to start off with. What'd you think? What'd you see?
23rd minute is when it all went downhill for us after that first goal. Um, I got excited in the beginning. I got reminded of that game we played early in the season against Philly when we started out scoring. I saw those opportunities coming, and I was like, "Yes, we're gonna do this. We're gonna get out to an early start." And we missed the one, we missed the second, and then they just came on, and I feel like it fell apart at that point, honestly. Like not that it fell apart, but I feel like the motivation that the guys had after that second goal, I feel like it just went kind of downhill, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, it definitely looked like, especially the second goal they put in, took the wind out of their sails, if you will, and the guys just kind of everybody's shoulder slouched, head dropped, and like you said, outside of the first 5 minutes, we had three opportunities to score, two shots on net. Duncan had a shot inside the first minute, I think it was.
Yeah.
That went just wide. He had the keeper beat. That would have been a goal inside of a minute for us. Um, Really, after that, the rest of the match, we didn't have anything to answer them with, and it's not like Salt Lake did anything particularly well. It's just we did bad in a couple small areas. Arujo, both goals. We hate calling people out on the show, but you look at the replay. There's an individual you can point out in that it's him. Where both times he lost his mark. You kind of question the second one why he was marking the opposition's big center back when he's 5'8", 5'9", 140 pounds. Arujo is, and their center back's pushing 6 foot, probably 170, 180 pounds by the looks of him.
Yeah.
And Arujo just gets out muscled on that one. It's disappointing. It's something that a lot of us poppy out people have been saying on this run. We were very happy that we've been started to have been proven wrong. And, I think for a lot of people, the last tick was, hey, let's beat a team that's above us on the table. Let's beat a
I was
playoff
just
team
gonna
above
say
us
that.
on the table.
Yep.
I don't know how you felt going into the match. If you were poppy in or poppy out. But let's touch on that a little bit while we're on it.
Honestly, I was just like, okay, what we've seen is great, but we should be beating the teams that we beat.
Mm-hmm.
I was texting with some friends, and they said, "So we're back, right?" I'm like, "Well, let's see how we play against the teams that are above us." And to me, I considered Real Salt Lake to be above us, but I know in the conversation you and I had, we said based on the on the East Coast they wouldn't have been, but they're still a team above us. They're in the top four of their division, and that was my fear. That was my fear. The minute we play a team that's above us, it's gonna fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that the team traveled. I know that there's the time difference. I know that there's all of that. But I feel like that's what we do. I mean, not we, but that's what a team does. That's part of what you do. So it's expected that you'll be able to deal with that. And in reading or in watching the videos with Oscar and I think Mauricio, they reinforced it. I mean, Mauricio was talking about somebody asked him if it was like the back-to-back games, and he said that they felt pretty fine. So it's something else. It's something bigger than just the setting and the team. There's something else underlying, like a bigger factor. So I think if
Mhm.
you were Poppy in or Poppy out before, I don't think this changes much, right? Um, because I think for me, this is what I was waiting for. If we had beat them, I'd be like, all right, I changed my mind one way or the other. Uh,
Absolutely. And like I said, this was a game I was greatly looking forward to. I've made my position very clear on here and on social media of where I stand and where I will continue to stand. David's made his point very clear that, me and David both feel like we've reached our ceiling. And unfortunately, this is who we are. We're going to beat the lower teams. We're going to, draw a lot of games against the upper teams, the better teams in the league. And then every once in a while, one like Saturday is going to come along and smack us in the face back to reality and say, hey, there's still work to be done. This team is good. They're above average, but they're not a top tier squad yet. Unfortunately, on paper, we should be.
yeah,
But it is what it is. It's where we are. And then the second half, kind of a boring second half until the last 11 minutes of the half.
you
And
mean when we were all praying that they wouldn't score two more goals?
exactly. And they come back with the 79th minute and the 89th minute, I believe it was, two extra goals to put them up 4-0 and really seal the deal and give us the gut punch. I mean, I personally felt nauseous after the game, with how the team looked, just the lack of motivation. And you're bringing it up before the show how losses are going to happen. And I'll let you take over once I finish this.
Yeah,
Losses are going to happen, but you want to see the boys pour their heart out into that loss and really make an effort for it. And you and I agreed, like I said before the show, that we just didn't see that on Saturday.
yeah. No, I'm totally there. I mean, I don't mind losses, but I want the team to lose, and I want to feel like they're gonna walk into the locker room and say we played a great game, even though we lost. And I I would find it hard to believe that any of those guys in there would say that to themselves, right?
Definitely.
And I don't think they would disagree. If any of them were on the show, they'd be like, "Yeah, we had our faults. They weren't at 100%, and I feel like we we need to do better, right? We
Mm-hmm.
need to do better, and that's not taking anything away from the guys. I mean, I support them 110%,
Yep.
right? We I don't know. I just lost my thought, but you watch it and you get frustrated.
Yes.
And you get frustrated not because you're not happy with the guys. Stuff happens, but I think it's just because we went from winning 4-0 to losing 4-0.
Yeah.
Like literally the game before, all I could think of was like all those Toronto fans are like, yeah, now you know how it feels. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? That was my first thought when I said that. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is probably what's on all their minds.
Yep. And I mean, at a point, it turns into insanity playing these top tier teams, which, by the way, we have Atlanta, which is a point ahead of us in the standings. They came into the match day, a point behind us, I believe it was, or tied with us. And then got their result Saturday, and now they're ahead of us. We're tied with them on goal differential, but insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, and that's kind of where we're at with this team. We do very well against the bottom of the table teams. Traditionally, you take the last 2 years, that's what we did. We did very well against the bottom of the table teams, and upper table teams, take out a couple oddities. We're either drawing or letting one slip away from us. So, it just gets to a point where, like you said, I'll still be there for the club. I'll be there long after all these players and all the coaches and the front office is gone, supporting them. But, it's like it just gets extremely frustrating watching the same thing over and over again. All right, we got a couple comments here, Ahmed, if you want to read
Yeah,
them here.
absolutely. David's channel, great job, guys. I'm guessing that's our friend who's on vacation watching.
Correct.
Hey there, my friend Jim D. Jim D, how are you, man? RSL is a solid team, but 4-0, that's a butt kicking. Yeah. Atlanta plays the Revs on Wednesday, so no excuses this Saturday. It's a must win for several reasons. I don't think anybody will disagree with you on that one. It was really disappointed. I was really disappointed at the RSL match, brought our goal differential back down after that TFC match, and it obviously brought theirs back up because I think they're at +1 now, right?
-1. They're still -1.
Sorry, -1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They came into the match with a -5 goal differential. They beat us 4-0, and
Yeah.
now they're close to a 0.
I think we were at +9 before the match, right? Weren't we at +9 now?
That's correct. That is correct. Yep, that is correct.
Yeah, Jim.
And don't forget, thank you to our 6 viewers. You can join the show. I believe David is periodically checking his footyfan76 at yahoo.com. If you want to join the show, you can email that. You can email us on or DM us on Instagram or Twitter at the cap or on the Capo Stand for all of our social medias, Facebook as well, and we will send you the link through DM for you to join the show. Ahmed, you join the show regularly, which we appreciate, even when you're not called in from the bullpen to help host. So let's move on to naturally to Saturday. We host our rival, probably our biggest rival, because we rarely beat them. It's gotten to the point where, yeah, we're rivals more of proximity versus, good matches. They beat us last year at home. We drew them away last year. The match earlier this season, we drew them at home. So let's jump into it. What do you think? What are you looking for this Saturday?
I think we need to come out with guns blazing, 100%. We need to see that team that we saw at home the last few games come out 100%. Everybody on point. That's really all that it comes down to. Giving everything they have. Not that they don't always, but things just have to click. We can't let the season slip through our hands.
Yeah.
We can't let at this point, I feel like if this is a turning point for us. We're either gonna get back on track or it's gonna fall apart. Right. And I hope this is not, and listening to Mauricio and what Oscar said, I'm hoping that they're still motivated, that they don't let this get to them and they just push ahead. Right. Yeah. Because they're going to challenge us, obviously. I think we can't afford those mistakes.
Yeah. I mean, I told David a couple of weeks ago after one of our shows, I can, as realistically as you can as a supporter, a fan of a sports team, I said I could see us, getting up to third place, at best this season. We're definitely not getting the first. Cincinnati's kind of, because of our point total, their point total, and just the way matches are, they would have to get a lot of, lose a lot of matches. And we would have to win a lot in a row in order to catch them. So, realistically, I think the best we can get's third. Like I said, this past week, we could have jumped up in the fourth, been 1 point away from New England. And taking that opportunity this week, we have another opportunity to jump back ahead of Atlanta, being fifth solo, depending on what Philadelphia does, because we are tied with Philadelphia on points. And I mean, Atlanta scores goals. They score goals in high quantity, but they also have tended to give up, a good amount of goals on there. And their top scorers are, I'm going to butcher his name because it's a very Greek name, Gurkomsky with 10 goals and Almada with 8 goals. It's a good contribution for two guys. But like I said, with them giving up, they're giving up 1.6 goals per match and only scoring 1.8. So, kind of they're either giving up goals or scoring goals, and there's really no in between.
Yeah.
I think it's a match. If we come out looking even like a mirror image of what we looked like the last 2 matches before Saturday, the 2 home matches, we could easily put up 3-4 goals on them, and I'm being a little optimistic there based on our goals per game this season, but there's no reason why we couldn't, because Atlanta does give up goals. And if we make Guzan move around a lot, he's an older player. He can't cover the goal like he used to.
Yeah.
Especially since he's still kind of coming off of an injury from earlier in the season.
Yeah, and I think that's what we need to do. We need to come out strong, score a couple of goals ahead of time, because we can't rely on good calls. We can't rely on that. We can't rely on a 1-0 victory, and we don't want a draw. We need we a draw would not hurt us, but we as a team, and I feel like the guys need the win.
Mm-hmm.
They need the wins to keep them motivated, to keep them going.
Yeah.
Anything else, I feel, is just gonna just deflate them, and I feel like that'll go back into the locker room. Anytime they lose like that, my biggest concern is not the score or the scoreboard. It's how it's going to affect the team as a whole and how they're going to come out the next time. Right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Well, we will continue with that with Atlanta in a moment. We have a special guest with us.
Oh, boy.
David.
Look at that. The
What's
hardworking
happening,
man.
guys? Wow, great show. Love it. Now, you guys screwed up because now I can see that I can take more time off. I leave the show in good hands. So that's awesome. Listen, I gotta tell you, very disappointed with the result on Saturday. I watched the show, not the show, but I watched the game, and it was a disaster. Just like Ahmed said, you can blame it on the time travel. You can blame it on a lot of things. And John and I, we had this conversation before, and we texted each other Saturday night. Right? No, I'm sorry, it wasn't you, John. It was with our friend David Hunt, where he asked me, "What do you think is going to happen tonight?" And I said, "I expect this to be an indictment on Oscar Pareja's tenure, because we have said many times that we're in a plateau, that we tend to beat the crappy teams, and that we tend to, do great with them, with everybody below the playoff line. But when we have to play equals or teams above us, this happens.
Yeah.
And what's going to end up happening, my friends, is we're going to finish seventh on the table. We're going to make playoffs. We're going to get our teeth kicked in, and we're going to be out of the playoffs again. And people are going to call that success, and it isn't. If you can challenge for trophies that matter to the fans, you're not doing great. And in this show, we are very clear where we stand. And we have said that many, many times that Oscar Pareja deserves our admiration, our respect. The man has earned his stature, brought a trophy, brought stability to the club, but we have to move forward. If you look at Miami, the moves they're making, you can look at Atlanta, you look at what Cincinnati going from a wooden spoon winner to the team that most likely is gonna take the supporter shield. Friends, we can stay idling, because what's gonna happen is we're gonna go back to the crap, the hole that we came from. So with that said, I'm gonna keep it short because I don't wanna interrupt the dynamic. I wanna go back. I wanna go back to my BS. Thank
There
you.
you go.
How's
Okay.
vacation going, by the way, David? That's the important question. You getting
What?
your relaxed? How's your
Oh, dude.
vacation?
Yes. If you guys follow my channel, David's channel 76 on YouTube. Yeah, on YouTube. You will see today I posted a 6-minute video of our experience going up to the mountains in Puerto Rico. My wife was mad at me because I took her to some, like, God forbidden places. We went to see this cool Indian ceremonial ground that is about 1,000 feet above sea level,
Wow.
and through some very narrow roads, basically a canyon on the left side and the mountain on the right side. So go watch that. We had a great time. Been doing a lot of fun things and drinking a lot of beer and relaxing more than anything. It would have been nice to come to Puerto Rico and witness a win for our boys against the Real Salt Lake that I felt was at the same level as us on paper, at least. But to go there and lay an egg just like that, embarrassing, humiliating. But that's football. You're gonna give those games 3 or 4 times a season. So with that said, thank you guys. Thank you, man, for filling in, my brother. That I
Anytime,
appreciate that.
brother.
And John, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
I'm amazed that after the 5 minute tutorial, you have managed to do all this, my friend. I'm very happy. So with that said, guys, take care. And against Atlanta, this I will say, Atlanta, just like you guys have said, has been our rival for many many reasons. But the reality is, either we draw them or they beat us by 1 goal. With the exception of the time when James O'Connor was fired and we lost 4-0 against them. We have never had good success with them. We have never defeated them at home in front of the home base. It's time to do that. And if we can't do that, that's why I'm popping out, because our manager has to deliver the results that the fans care, and the fans want to defeat the our natural rivals, but at the same time we have to move forward, my friends. And sadly, if this club wants to do Oscar Pareja 1 more year, they're gonna do it without my money, because I'm not renewing my season tickets, and I'm gonna stand by that, because it's time for people to follow action with their words. So
Definitely.
with that, I'll leave you guys. Okay.
Thank
Thanks,
you, David.
All right,
Have
my
a good-
brother. Yeah, see you guys.
Yeah. John, it's like he always says and he just reminded me of something. I was listening to the commentator, and they were saying how against Real Salt Lake that we're a team that Real Salt Lake should be afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, what do? Like David always says, we take these teams that are struggling and we revive them. We give them CPR to make them feel better about themselves.
Yep, we're the best team to play if you're on a losing skid.
Yeah, it's so
For
true.
sure. We do have, before we get back into the match itself, we do have one comment here. If you want to read that.
Yeah, Jim D. Not to mention DC is quickly climbing up. That is for sure, my friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just to outlook on the Eastern Conference table, since we're kind of on that topic here. Cincinnati is in first place. They're also leading the Supporter Shield with 45 points. Nashville with 38. New England with 37. Columbus with 36. Atlanta with 35. Philadelphia is tied with us with 34, but they have the goal differential advantage at +10. We're at +5. DC United at 8th with 30. Montreal at 9th with 26, and the rest of the teams don't matter because they're not in the playoffs right now. So, fact of the matter is, we could have been sitting, if we would have won, we would be sitting in a point tie with third with the goal differential. We would have actually been ahead on goal differential if we had just won by 1 goal. We would have been at +10. New England would have been at 9. So we would be sitting in third place right now if we would have won on Saturday. So my math was a little bit off, but yeah, New England sitting at 37, 3 points ahead of us. They have a +9 goal differential. So that's how crucial the match this past Saturday was.
Yeah.
Jumping back into this Saturday's match, and something that's near and dear to me, which is supporter culture. I know, Ahmed, I've been told you're a member of a supporter group that remains unnamed.
Yes, sir.
My personal feelings on the rivalry with Atlanta is it's more of a supporter rivalry than necessarily anything that's on the pitch. Obviously, they're closer to us. It's, our fans have went back and forth. Our supporters have had different things happen in Atlanta. Different bands placed out in Atlanta. Their supporters have came here, had incidents at our stadium, at Exploria Stadium. There's been bands kind of back and forth with the two front offices, if you remember that a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Where Atlanta banned us, and then our front office was like, well, you're going to ban us, we're going to ban you guys, type of thing. And honestly, guys, that's where, that's something in U.S. and the United States with how spread out everything is. That's how rivalries are born. That's a true soccer rivalry, in my opinion, is where it's the supporters being rivaled with each other, because it's authentic. As plastic as Atlanta is, the rivalry with us is about the most authentic thing that they have in their club's history. So it's fun. It's a very fun rivalry. Obviously, we're going to have a good following up there, following the boys up there on Saturday. with away supporters. I'm unfortunately not going to be able to make it up there for this one. I've always wanted to, never had the opportunity to make it up there to support the boys against Atlanta. Have you ever been to any away days or anything like that?
The last away day we went to was the Miami one. And
Okay.
let me tell you, that was definitely an experience. And I feel like the away game and those rivalries, those are some of the best games. Like honestly,
Definitely.
there with all that with the supporters groups, it's an amazing experience. And if anybody has not done it, I would definitely suggest to do it. There's nothing like it. You're a small portion of the overall audience, but it's an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've only been to. I went over the story before. I'll tell it again real briefly. The only away match I've ever been to was when we played Nashville in the playoffs in 2021. Me and my girlfriend, we were going to go there, watch the match, and then go the rest of the way up to Cincinnati to spend Thanksgiving with my family. Because remember, 2021, the season was delayed by about a month because they were trying to figure COVID out and everything still. So we leave 12 hours before the match is set to begin. We left at like 8 in. Get stuck in traffic. Get stuck in traffic before Atlanta. Stuck in traffic in Atlanta. Get stuck in traffic in Knoxville. I promise you, we didn't travel a mile in about 2.5 hours. So we end up. I'm literally at the split in Knoxville, in the middle lane, thinking, should I take it or should I just go home? Should I take it or should I just go home? Look, babe, look up your directions, or what time's your directions say we're going to be there. So I just decided to go. And we ended up getting there right at halftime, parked without paying in the very first lot right next to the stadium, right next to the gate we needed to enter in, and then went into the match. Unfortunately, the match didn't, turn out the way we wanted for us because Nashville has Mukhtar, unfortunately, still, which we can't seem to find a player even close to him. I guess Torres is about the closest player we have to him right now. But back to Atlanta. This is the last game before Leagues Cup begins.
Yes.
We go a scheduled month without playing another MLS game. I believe our next MLS match is on August 20th or 21st, and that's going to be an away match. Yep, August 20th, and that's going to be against Chicago. So this is a must-win. Going into a long break like this, you want to have a little bit of momentum going into a break like this. If we come away with the 3 points against Atlanta this Saturday, that's going to be a really good springboard, I feel, for the boys to finish the stretch of MLS play on August 20th, because after August 20th, we only have a handful of games left. We have, after August 20th, we have 5 home games left, and I think 11 matches total. So the season's done. Once August gets you, you're really in the home stretch for that, and really in the playoff push for that.
I think this is a must-win game for us. Absolutely, hands down. Leagues Cup and all. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about that. Right? I feel about it like I do the All-Star game. You know what I mean? Like, it's great. It's something to keep people entertained, but I'm just worried about the season at the end of the day.
Yep.
I don't see us going into the Leagues Cup, and could something happen for us? Great. I'd rather us do well in the season and just say at this point, the Leagues Cup is what it is.
Yeah. And I'm on board with you, Ahmed. I'm like 50-50 split because with Leagues Cup, I'm not sure you're aware, but there's 3 Champions Cup, former CONCACAF Champions League places available in Leagues Cup.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Plus the prize money is a lot more than like the US Open Cup. So there's those implications there. To me, I want to, if we get 3rd place, 2nd place, I don't see us getting 1st place. Honestly, not being pessimistic, just Liga MX is, the top teams are better than we are right now. They have more availability to spin, less roster restrictions. It's going to happen. It showed when we played Tigres earlier in the season. That we drew them both matches, but you watch the matches, they were better quality than us throughout those matches. But if we get one of those CONCACAF Champions Cup spots with all that prize money, yes, I want to see us take the season, the Leagues Cup seriously, because on Den After Dark, I always try to join those guys and support those guys. I said, hey, I hope we basically were three matches and out of the Leagues Cup so we can rest and get healthy for the rest of the season. I didn't know that about the Champions Cup, about the three possible spots and everything, so it kind of changed my mind there. Because my thing is if we get out of the group play, we lose in the first round, that's 2 weeks that we just, put all of our aces up front, aces on the board to try to get a Champions League spot, essentially, which is, in my opinion, is what the Leagues Cup would be looked at.
Okay.
Whereas on the other hand, if we could rest up, get everybody healthy, get everybody, in shape, get a little bit more, togetherness, maybe figure some things out that, need figured out, patch up some holes, and be fully ready. Almost treat this as a preseason in the middle of the season, and come out running of the break, and we take it by storm. I don't know. I feel like you're kind of the same way I am on it.
And my reasoning for that is, given the performances we've seen in the cups that we've had, even though the team is doing better, it's the same team. It's the same makeup. It's the same leadership. So I would be extremely surprised, pleasantly surprised, if we went into the Leagues Cup with a different outcome than in the tournaments that we've seen.
Exactly.
And that's my reasoning for saying what I said about the Leagues Cup. I'm not expecting anything, right? Just because of what we've seen. And it's nothing against anybody. It's just, I want to be surprised. And I'll be like, I'll eat my words.
Exactly.
But I don't know.
Yeah, because the fact of the matter is, Leagues Cup, MLS Cup, if you get out of the group stage, draws don't account for anything. You have to win the match. Sure, you go and play extra time, you play PKs. Our record in PKs is out of this world. Eventually the clubs as a whole is going to come back to earth on PKs. It's just the way it happens. You look at what happened last night with the U.S.-Canada game. It's literally a coin flip to some extent. So, we can't keep going into these tournaments hoping we go 120 minutes, remain tied, whatever the scoreline might be, remain tied. Hope we remain tied through the 120 minutes, and then count on our PKs, because eventually we're going to lose one. It's just a matter of fact.
And that's. I mean, listen, I don't think anybody forgot the U.S. Open Cup last year against Miami. That's what happened.
Yep. We had every right to lose that game after giving up that first goal. Luckily, Facu put his Superman cape on and said, "Hold on, guys, I got this. I'm going to tie it back up." That's still one of my favorite goals in club history, probably next to the Kaká one on opening day of MLS of the club. So what's your prediction? What do you see happening on Saturday?
A draw. I'm calling a draw.
You're calling a draw?
I want to win. I want to win 2-1. Are we going to do it? I don't know. I would be. I want to be proven wrong. So that's why I'm calling a draw.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Like I said earlier in the show, we are who we are. At this point in the season, at this point in Poppy's tenure, and we tend to draw nearly every match with the top of the table teams, and
I think if we come out strong early on, we have a good chance.
Definitely. Think last year at Atlanta, we came on strong and scored a goal in the first 20 minutes on the free kick that Pereira scored when we caught the keeper sleeping.
That's right.
And we scored, and then we, played for the Poppy Special, and they came back and scored, and Gillespie that was the save of the year against Dom Dwyer later in that match, if you recall. It was
Yeah.
one of the greatest saves I've ever seen live. You know, so I feel like, it's either going to be a 1-1 draw or somebody's going to win, 3-4 to 1, 3-4 to 0.
They're wrong, unless it's us winning.
Yeah. But my gut feeling going into this is not good. I don't feel good going into this match, and it's
gonna be a fight.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a fight. I don't think anybody could argue that.
Yep.
And if
We
they
got another comment, and then we will move on.
Yep.
Just a reminder, if you guys want to join the show, please DM us, DM the show on Instagram or Twitter at On the Capo Stand. It's on the little ticker at the bottom. Thank you to the 9 people currently watching us. We greatly appreciate it. You guys can comment if you have anything to add, or again, if you want to join the show, DM us at On the Capo Stand on Twitter or Instagram. So yeah, if you don't mind reading this comment real quick.
Yeah, Jim D. Ever since the Billboard, I've hated them, and we all know who he's talking about. Atlanta.
Yep. And for those that don't know, Atlanta, their first season, put up a billboard in, I believe it was Kissimmee, and put it up, and it said something like "Orlando, we're coming" or something like that, with a couple of their players on it. Needless to say, it was up there for about 12 hours, didn't make it overnight, and we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, it was a very arrogant thing for them to do in their first season, and
hence the rivalry.
Yep, exactly. All right, our next topic. It happened earlier today. Orlando City promoted one of their academy players, Orlando City B players, to the first team. Ahmed, if you want to go over it a little bit, we can.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe they signed one of the goalkeepers, right, from the B team.
That they did.
I'm super excited about it. Javier Otero, I believe is his name. And honestly, I get excited anytime we sign new players, because I feel like the talent we have is just amazing. And if you've seen him play any of the games, he's right on the money. So I'm excited for him. I hope he gets to see some playing time. That would be nice. But I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we signed him when it was time. You certain guys reach the peak of their level at on the reserve squad or in the academy, they have to be brought up. And I think it's another thing that, they don't feel like Adam or Mason are the answer to back up Gillespie. By the way, it's a year guaranteed contract as a homegrown with a second and third year. No, I'm sorry, it's 2 years. It's through 2024, I believe, with a club option for 25 and 26. At least that's what I got written down. If I'm wrong, please let us know in the comments.
Yes.
So, I really feel like Mason and Adam, the club feels that they're not the backups that we need to be behind Gillespie. They're not the quality we need behind Gillespie, because Gillespie is going to get hurt. Players get hurt. Gillespie puts his body on the line every single match. He's going to miss time with the Peruvian national team. So we need a quality backup to be there. Yes. He was the new keeper was brought into Venezuela, their national team. If he gets brought up again, not seeing playing time, we'll see. It'd be good, good for him, bad for the team if he does. But I really feel like they're bringing him up to get him, elevate his level 1 and 2 to be the quality backup that we need for Gillespie, because you need it. I mean, our academy right now is fairly loaded for as new as it is, in my opinion. I mean, we got guys making U.S. national team appearances at the youth level, Spain youth national team appearances. We got guys if you guys get a chance to watch Orlando City B, except for last night, it's kind of a down game match yesterday. But generally, they're an exciting team. Match before that, they were down, 4-2, came back to win 5-4, I think.
Yes, that was
5-3. Yeah, that was an exciting match. So they're a very exciting team. And honestly, with the guys we have on that squad now, there's 2 options we have. We either have to move them up to the first team, or we have to sell them. They're not; those guys are at such skill that they're not going to be able to just sit on the B team and be okay with it. And then the guys we have coming up through the academy, same thing. They're either eventually going to graduate out of the academy and make it to the B team, or even make it to the senior squad straight out of the academy. Which is in the case of the one that played for Spain. I think once he graduates, he'll be signed straight to the first team, hopefully. Or we may see a lot of those guys, be sold off when they do graduate. We might sign them to Orlando City B and then sell them off, which is good for a club, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinions. It shows that we're going in the right direction as a club as a whole. Because look at like what Philadelphia has done with the Aaronsons, or New York Red Bulls with Tyler Adams, just to name a few guys that have done very well at a very, very young age at their club, and then moved overseas to have so far. Paxton still yet to see, but Tyler Adams, pretty successful career. Brendan Aronson just signed a loan yesterday to Berlin, I think. Union Berlin, I believe. And so, they've had successful careers, and that's on the horizon for the guys in the academy, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think as far as the players go, the new signings go, my biggest thing is every time we've seen a new player come that they've signed, they have just performed way beyond what your expectation is of them. So I'm really excited to see him play at some point. Obviously, it's going to be a challenge because that's a big responsibility, that position. But if his performance is anything like we've seen him on the B team, or anything like the other players that we've had, it's going to be an exciting match.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the guy came in for Spain, came in for 3 minutes several matches ago, and ripped a shot from 20, 25 yards out.
Easily, yeah.
Beautiful shot, right? On I believe it was on frame. The keeper had to make a save, and it was like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
And the sad thing about it, we were talking obviously before the show about the new signing and everything, is, you and I both would love to see these guys get more time, but I know the MLS has restrictions on reserve team players and academy players. And once it's either a certain number of appearances or a certain number of minutes or a combination of the two, they have to be signed to the first team. So it's just another way that, the league, the MLS, is really keeping the clubs from growing and, in my opinion, succeeding like they should be able to, like they can in almost every other top league in the world, and get those academy guys, a start here and there when they're proving, or the reserve guys a start here and there when they're proving they may have what is needed, but you don't know until you see at the top level.
Yeah, and it's sad. It's sad because there's such talent there, and that's why they're signing them. It's like it's almost counterproductive, but
absolutely. Absolutely. So I know, just to bring back something we talked about last week, since we were on the thing of signing players and not signing players, is there anybody, since we're in the middle of the signing period right now, anything that you want to see the club bring in or remove or anything like that?
You know what? Well, it's funny because you talking about it, and I think was it last week that you were all talking about Nani and Urso, and all of that stuff?
Yep.
I don't know if that's all coincidental or if there's anything to that. I think that'll be very interesting to see how that unfolds, with all the talk around Kara and that. I would love to see us sign somebody in that DP slot if Kara does end up going the other way, because we need that Chicho Arango, we need that Hani Mukhtar, we need,
yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, Duncan is the man, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's professional sports. I used the analogy last week of Tiger Woods when he was especially younger, when he was dominating golf tournaments, winning by 6-7 strokes, and he'd still be out on the range trying to tweak his swing, and his instructor had to sit there and be like, Tiger, you just won by 6 or 7 strokes. Why are you messing with your swing? And he's like, because I have to get better, because I did this, that, and the other. So there's always somebody out there better than you at something. No player is irreplaceable, whether it's, technique or locker room or your workout or your, how business like you are on road trips or on time, whatever it is, there's always somebody that's better than it at you. Yep. Luckily, this is the first time I feel like we're in the middle of a transfer window and we don't really have a need. Yep. Everybody that we have on the squad is good enough to play on an MLS squad, is good enough to perform at a high level on an MLS squad, is good enough. We've seen it with this team this year. We beat back-to-back teams. Yes, they were lower than us, but 3-1 and 4-0, who Chicago just won their match on Saturday, and it was against a playoff team. I can't recall who it was against, but I know they won. So, we beat LA earlier in the season pretty handedly at home. They just beat Philadelphia 2 or 3-1. So we have the players. The thing is we've never been in this situation where we have the players and we're looking to improve rather than to fill a void. I really think we get, if we are able to open up a DP spot through getting rid of Kara, which I love Kara. I think he is a great soccer player. I just feel like he doesn't fit the team right now and what the team needs.
And that makes a huge difference. That's a huge, huge factor, I think, the way you gel with the team. And that's what everybody was talking about in the beginning. It takes a while for the guys to gel. It takes a while well, now the guys are gelling, but they're not all gelling,
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with you there. And to your point about the talent, yeah, we have the talent. So what's not happening, right? It's the question that everybody hates to bring up. But if you have all that, something else is missing. What is it?
Yeah. In my opinion, something that's missing for us, you brought up Hany Mukhtar. I brought him up earlier as well. We don't have that guy that can get his own goal, that can beat a man one-on-one and get his own goal. Sure, Torres can cut in, hit a shot from distance. Ojeda can do it. Angulo can make a guy miss. I haven't seen him put a good shot on net except for the one goal he has this year. But that was one that was set up by somebody else. Think about when we had Nani, how many times a match that should have been a draw became a win because of something he did where he made his own goal, or, a loss became a draw because of something he did to create his own shot and his own goal. So I really feel like that's something we need. Can you get that in a striker? A true striker, no. Somebody that's almost like a false nine, yes. But we would need to use a DP space on either one of those guys, and, I love Duncan. I think he is a great striker. We got him for nothing. I think, in a year or two, he probably is one of the best strikers in the league. I'm willing to say that based on where he's at right now. But yeah, I think we need a playmaker. We need somebody that can play 90 minutes and make his own goal through pure skill and not rely, on other people to get that goal for him.
You're absolutely right. And I think if we do have that person, they can make their own goals, they're also going to create those opportunities for everybody else to do their best, right? And to create those goals. So they'll have those opportunities to shine. And I feel like that may be the part that's missing on occasion, because you don't have that person that attracts the attention from 2 or 3 players to open up the other guys. Because if you had that, everybody'd be on him. And guess what?
Exactly.
The people. So
exactly. We got another comment here if you don't mind reading it.
Yeah, absolutely. William Aguilar. I don't know why Orlando couldn't be in that position of signing Chicho Arango. We got Miami some shady moves from their signings. Why can't Orlando at least get another striker?
Yeah, what Miami's doing, you got to let all the dust settle, see who actually signs there, see who doesn't. Everything right now Messi hasn't even officially put pen to paper yet. So everything's speculation. Is that me denying Messi's actually going there? No. I think Messi is going there. I think Busquets is going there. But as far as everybody else, we'll see how the cards settle, and hopefully the league does the right thing and lays the proverbial hammer where it needs to lay if they do again break MLS roster rules. And as far as like why we can't do things like that, so the reason why Miami was able to get Busquets and possibly a couple other people, one, they had the international slots available for those guys, and two, those guys, except for Messi, was really willing to take a massive pay increase to, again, if these deals do go through, to join the club, kind of like how Gareth Bale joined LA last season, joined the Galaxy LAFC last season. Was he took a massive pay cut because he has buddies that were on the team. He wanted to play his last season for them or with them, and so he didn't get paid what probably he should have been, which is how Miami's getting this done. Unfortunately, from what I can see, is the only two guys that we have brought with us because of a buddy system is Gillespie and Cartagena from the Peruvian national team. Maybe there's other things in works that I'm not privy to that I haven't heard about that are being worked through other guys, but that's kind of where we're at with that. You got anything to add to that?
I think a big part of the stuff with Miami, it's all about the money, hands down. I don't know how many players you need to sign to make your team a team worth watching, if that makes it. But that's all that it's about. I mean, I have conversations with my son. He's like, let's sign Cristiano Ronaldo. And I'm like, no. I'm like, this is not what we need. I'm like, because you're taking away from what we're doing. And we have two comments, actually, if we can read them. And I think that will help. I think William Aguilar had one. He said, I know the club wants to rely on academy players too, I guess to save on money signings, but Pareja barely gives the academy players a chance. And I think you kind of touched on that earlier because they're afraid if they do, they may have to give them first team spots. And then we have another one. I think it's from Victor Rivera. Victor, hey Victor, I think we need a new captain. Not sure Mauricio is the right guy. I don't see him giving that energy like Kaká and Nani did, my opinion. Yeah, I think those are all valid points. But as far as Miami goes, man, I don't know. It's you can sign all those people. You can sign all the people you want. But are you building a team, or are you just finding a reason to get people into the stadium to watch? Right? I heard about Messi that he may have a clause that he can't play on turf pitches.
Yep.
How is that even a thing? You know what I mean?
Well, that opens a whole other can of worms because of having, plastic surfaces that a top tier professional is playing on. That shouldn't even be, in my opinion, there should be everything should be natural grass across the turf or across the league. There should be no artificial turf, but that's a whole nother can of worms. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I'm like, how is that even a thing? I mean, they're bringing him over for the name. So people are not going to go. People are going to go to those games because it's Messi.
Yep.
And it is what it is. They're going to go and not watch him play. How's that going to work out for Miami or for anybody else going to watch?
Yeah, and I mean it's a pure marketing thing because if you look at the players that they're rumored to be bringing in, I mean, I'm 34 years old. Of course, I'm out of shape, as you guys can tell, but I was in shape when I was 30. And I was already feeling my age a little bit. And these guys, I played sports all year round from the time I was 7, 8, 9, 10 years old to the time I graduated high school. So these guys have played way more sports, have way more miles on their feet, on their legs, on their knees, on their hips, everything. And all these guys are bringing in are my age or older. You think they feel like chasing Angulo around the pitch or, dealing with Araujo or Torres or even, go to other teams that have young players as well. Think they feel like chasing a 17-year-old around the field that can run for days because he has a tenth of the miles they have. Like you said, they're bringing us in purely for marketing, purely so they can make the purely so they can make the money off of it, and then after Messi's 2 or 3 years, you know, they'll be back to where they are. And I honestly don't think what they're doing is going to help them in the standings, period. Because the fact of the matter is, they're, I believe, 1 point above the bottom of the table for the entire league. So for one guy at 34 years old, never played in the MLS, never played in a physically dominant league like the MLS is, because you have guys that come over from other leagues and say, this league is so physical. The skill's not quite there, but it's just as physical as, you know, Germany or wherever. So a physical league. Not, you know, Messi played in France and Spain that traditionally aren't as physical as, say, England and Germany.
Mm-hmm.
But he's coming here to play in a physical league. With the travel, I know we said travel doesn't really affect the guys. Well, it will when he first gets here and he has to get on his first flight and go from Miami to LA and play in LA on a Wednesday and then fly back and play in Miami on a Saturday. That's going to affect somebody.
Absolutely right.
So, you know, it's not, I'm kind of laughing at it. I'm happy he's going to be here because it puts new eyes on the league. Hopefully it's able to get the league to open up the roster restrictions a little bit more, make them more loose, and let us bring in players that can benefit our league. Because I mean, we're in the United States of America. I know the country has its issues, but in my opinion, there is no reason why clubs here can't be in the talking for an Mbappe or for, you know, a Ronaldo when he was in his prime, or Erling Haaland when he was up for sale last year. Why teams here can't be included in that? And to me, the simple reason is the MLS roster structure doesn't allow it, because the club can't pay the transfer fee, can't play the player as much as he wants to make. I mean, imagine the quality of the league if we were able to get even our national team players to come and play stateside here and not have that big drop off there is as a whole from the Bundesliga, from the Premier League, from France, from Italy, that drop off that there is down to the MLS. If it was a minor drop off or even no drop off at all, if we were able to afford and have big enough rosters to be competitive with those.
Yeah, and I think that's where the league gets its reputation as being that retirement league, where everybody says that's exactly what it is. Because why are you going to come here if it's not inviting? There's nothing inviting about it, and the league makes it so that, you know, we're not ready for you to an extent.
Well, that's one thing I do think the league has done well, is really tap into the South and Central American talent that there is.
Yeah,
but otherwise maybe stuck in their local, you know, where they were born, the nation they were born in, that league, and able to bring them into MLS and get them a little bit, you know, worldwide exposure because of Apple TV now. And, you know, that's one thing that with the U22 initiative and everything that they have done better. We do have a couple more comments if you want to read them, and then we'll get everything wrapped up.
Absolutely. So we have Vixen. Hi, Vixen. Talking about the buddy system. Another buddy system we had was Carlos Rivas and Christian Higuita. Yes, sir.
That is absolutely true.
Next up, fun fact, again from Vixen, Drogba refused to play on our artificial turf when he played in Montreal. Yes, I didn't actually know that.
Yeah.
And
one of the coolest moments being an Orlando City fan was in 2015 when we played Montreal at the end of the season. And I got to see Kaká and Drogba walk off the field together, because obviously, you know, the age I am, I also am a Chelsea fan. I wouldn't say I'm a supporter; I'm a fan. You know, seeing Drogba at Chelsea and everything, and then seeing those two, in my eyes, icons of the game, walking off the pitch together, I was beside myself.
William Aguilar. Actually having Ronaldo wouldn't sound too bad, considering we have Kara in the bench, LOL. Plus, he would solve the scoring issue and the captain issue all at once. Well, William, I'll tell you this. My son is jumping around the room right now that you said that. But yeah.
So I'm I'm more of a Ronaldo fan than a Messi fan. I would not want Ronaldo to sign here for several reasons. One, the apparent issues that he had when he was at Manchester. I know his baby daughter had just passed away, something horrific, something that I couldn't imagine going through. But the issues that he caused inside the locker room there, I won't want those. And then also, the feeling. I feel like a lot of the players being younger may feel like they have to force feed him the ball.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and we wouldn't want that. And another thing is that our club seems to have adopted is getting young players when they're young, developing them. Maybe they're already developed, and then, getting them through. We got one more comment, and then we got a guest to join us. If you want to read that comment real quick.
Absolutely. David's channel. As long as the MLS can get away with rating South American talent using the strong U.S. dollar, European talent at their prime will take a backseat. And I think that just kind of reinforces what we were just saying, basically. Right? It's true. It's true.
Definitely. All right, we got our friend Vixen joining us tonight. Vixen,
There
you're
he
on the
is.
Capo stand. How's it going?
Hey, Vixen.
Hey, hey, John. I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing
Good.
well.
What's on your mind, bud?
Well, I'm gonna flip the book to the totally opposite side of what everybody's talking about over here.
Go for it.
I find the loss in Real Salt Lake. I find a little bit of a good thing about it.
Okay.
Okay, so hear me out. I mean, our next game is against our rivals in Atlanta. If we had a win in Salt Lake City, then maybe Pareja would have taken it easy on the flight to Atlanta. He would have I don't think he would have put effort. But with this loss, it gives him some work to do for the rivalry match in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So that's that. I think I see this loss as a pro because I don't mind losing to Salt Lake, but I do mind losing against a rivalry team. So if we would have won, like I said, if we would have won that game against Salt Lake City, he would have taken it easy. We got this. And then but now he's probably looking at how Atlanta's playing and stuff and checking how checking what to do essentially.
Definitely.
That's just me. I haven't heard a single person say that, but I hope others agree with me. Here,
I can definitely see your point, Vixen. You know what though, and I have to say, even last season, you can pick your games, you can pick your fights, and you can look at your depending on the strategy, and say, you know what, I wouldn't mind losing that game. So I can see that. And last season, I feel like part of last season we did that, which is why we gave up the games we did, so that we got to the position where we're at, and it got us to the Open Cup.
For sure.
So I absolutely can see that.
Yeah. Look how we lost 3-0 in the first few home games earlier last season against New York Red Bulls.
Yeah.
Look what happened way months later. We beat them 5-1. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
What does that tell you? I'm just saying. I don't see this as a really bad thing. Of course, it sucks that it was by 4 goals.
Yes.
But you learn from your mistakes, and I hope Pareja does us justice here.
Yeah, that's one thing that we have been able to avoid with him is, especially the last 2 seasons for the most part, is back-to-back losses at least.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not necessarily following up a loss with a win, but avoiding 2 letdowns in a row like that. We've done very well in avoiding.
Yeah. So a fun fact: I'm actually going to the Atlanta game.
Oh, nice. So
I'm going there with my 2 best friends, and we're gonna have a great time. I live in Tallahassee right now, so Atlanta is 3.5 miles from me. 3.5 hours from me.
Nice.
And I still checked. I'm still 3 miles closer to Exploria Stadium than Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So I got bored one night, and I was like, hold up now. Hold up. Atlanta's still pretty close to Tallahassee here. I'm going to school in FSU right now.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Orlando for most of my life. I moved there when I was 5. I was born in Jersey, but then I moved to Orlando when I was 5. But I did the research, and Exploria Stadium is 3 miles closer than Mercedes-Benz Stadium, so you already know.
So are you guys sitting by yourself, or are you going to join the people traveling from Orlando, or what are you planning on doing?
I'm not too sure yet. I do hope that like maybe get like a section, like a seat in a section, and then like maybe like see where the Atlanta City fans are, and then go over there
Okay.
to sit with them, maybe. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
But Ahmed, I have a question for you. Actually,
Yeah.
I heard you earlier that you went to a Miami game, like
Yes.
the Miami away game. Was it the game that Nani scored a golazo and made it 2-1?
No, it
Was
was
it
this
that one?
last one. It was this last Miami game.
Oh,
This
okay.
most recent one, yeah. It was the most recent.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you meant the one on Labor Day weekend, the one that we kind of.
Yeah,
No,
no,
wait,
no,
no,
it
no,
was,
that one. No, which one was it that he scored like a banger in Miami and made it 2-1? I can't remember.
was a
I don't
while
know.
That was a while
Yeah.
ago. I slept since then.
Dang. Oh wow. Sorry. I thought. Man. I thought that was pretty recent. But what should we call it? Another thing I wanted to ask you. I didn't. When the whole billboard thing happened with Atlanta, I was like 12, 13 years old. So like I didn't know like they did that. So like I mean if you don't mind like elaborating on the story, John.
Yeah, basically Atlanta, it happened a little bit before the first match was going to be here in Orlando. Their owner has more money than we could imagine he has, and they decided to put a billboard up in town that was a billboard, and it said like Orlando, we're coming, and had some of their players like looking tough or whatever on it. And
where was it? Like where was the billboard?
honestly, man, I completely forget. I used to know where it was. I don't. It was near. I know it was near Kissimmee. Is where if my memory serves me correctly.
And you said it was on. Was it like a painted on billboard, like, or was it like the digital ones?
It was like the tarped ones, yeah, like painted on, or the tarp,
Oh,
the
wow.
one that has like the
like Morgan stuff, and
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It wasn't a
but-
digital one; it was one that they
that they had to put something on it.
yeah. So I mean,
Gotcha.
the company doesn't care. The companies that own that usually aren't even from here, so they got their money for it and said, let's put it on there, and they did it. But yeah,
No way.
basically that happened, and then it was up for about a day, not even a day, like daylight hours, and then magically the next morning there was no billboard.
Well, who took it down?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Was it?
It
Oh,
was not me. It was not me. I promise you, it was not me.
oh.
But I'm not at liberty to say who it was.
I thought the guy, the owner of Atlanta, only had it up there for a time. And I was like,
No. It was
oh,
it was forcibly taken down.
well, let's see what happens when I go to Atlanta. I'm gonna be repping Orlando City socks, Orlando City scarf, hat,
There you
jersey. You already know, a headband. I got the sweatband here. I'm all out. I'm bringing my own yellow and red cards to the game.
Here's your answer, Vixen. We got a correction on that if you want to read that, Ahmed.
Oh,
Sure.
nice.
Sure. The billboard was downtown by the stadium, and the club cut all ties to the billboard company after that. The Brazilian ownership complained to the league.
Thank you,
Wow.
David, for that. My mistake. So it wasn't a Kissimmee. See, it's been so long ago, I forget.
No,
Yeah, it was
I
back
hope
in
David-
2017.
Yeah.
yeah. I hope David is having a great vacation. I hope he's having a great time in Puerto Rico for sure. One thing I wanted to say was your favorite Orlando City goal, John, was also my favorite Orlando City goal. My favorite one was the Kaká and Citrus Bowl.
Mhm.
But your second one is not my second one. My second one is the one that Kaká scored in Atlanta, the total banger in front of thousands and thousands of Atlanta fans on Brad Guzan. I remember seeing that live on TV, and I was like, dude, what a rebel, man. What a rebel.
So how are you feeling about this weekend, Vixen? What do you think Saturday is going to bring us?
I agree with Hamid on this one here. He said a draw, and I think a draw does sound like a 2-2 draw. Like it does sound pretty. I think it's gonna be a 1-1 at halftime, and then another 1-1 for the second half, so a total of 2-2. So who do I think is gonna score? I have a feeling I have a feeling we're gonna get a penalty. I don't know. It's a small Facundo goal, and then let's see. I don't know. Uh, that's a tough one. Probably. I don't want to. I don't know. I'm trying. Let's say Angulo, and Facundo there. I think
Okay.
those are my.
Nice. So you think it's a comeback by Orlando to steal the draw, or you think the win gets stolen from us?
Ooh.
Make you
I
really
think-
think about it tonight.
Yeah.
I think if they score first, then I think we will win the game. That's what I feel like. If they score first, I think we will win the game. I don't know. I just feel that way. That happens with Orlando all the time. Like whenever we score first, we tend to like choke towards the end.
Yeah.
And I think the win. I think it'll be taken. I think we'll be winning, and then they're gonna. The home base of Atlanta is just crazy. I think they're just gonna like take the win away from us.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
One quick question: what happened? Is Mason the goalkeeper Mason? Is he still in Orlando City B at the moment?
You talking
Like-
about Sedgar? No,
Yeah.
he's on a first team contract. Still, he didn't get like demoted or anything like that.
I know, but didn't he play for a few games for Orlando City
Yeah.
B?
Yeah, the senior team players can go down. There's stipulations, a mountain high on what they can and can't do with senior team players
Okay.
playing for the B team. But yeah, it's not that unusual.
Well,
Last season it happened where
Mhm.
a bunch of the backups went down and played a Orlando City B match.
yeah. So is Mason still playing games for Orlando City B or not anymore?
No, he only played those one or two games to
Oh,
kind of
okay.
a warm up for when Pedro was gone for international duty.
Oh, okay. Because I thought that he was still there with Orlando City B, and this Otero goalkeeper like jumped over Mason to like go ahead and take his spot in Orlando City first team type of stuff.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of.
Gotcha.
All right, Vixen,
And,
where can we find you at on your socials?
my name is just Vixen, all lowercase, and I'm only on Instagram.
Perfect. Well,
For
thank
sure.
you for your time, Vixen. Safe travels to
Thank you.
Atlanta. Help bring
Yeah,
home a
thank you.
winner, make your voice heard, and we appreciate
Oh, you
you
already
being
know.
on the show.
Stay safe, man.
All right, thank you guys. Take it easy out there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Awesome.
All right, we got one last comment real quick from the founder of the show, and then we will call it a night after that. Go ahead.
From David, on the Capo stand does not support vandalism, and we are sad that the billboard suffered such irreparable damage after 12 hours after it was installed.
Definitely, like I said, it's a mystery how it was taken down. We do not know by how or by whom.
Absolutely.
All right, Ahmed. So, we hopefully Orlando can go into Atlanta, like we said, bring a win. We both are, on the same level as far as we think they're going to come away with a draw. Where can we find you at on the socials, on the internet?
It's at Ahmed Salim 1376 on Instagram, or Ahmed Salim or Ahmed Salim 13. One of those three you'll find all over the place.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for stepping in for David. Hopefully we can, co-host with you again, whether it's David and I, or just myself, or just David. I really
Absolutely
enjoyed the time.
It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed being with y'all.
Thank you. Well, thank you to all of our viewers, and listeners, everybody watching and listening tonight, everybody that will be watching and listening on the recording. Just as a reminder, we are all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Our Twitter and Instagram is On the Capo Stand. Our Facebook for On the Capo Stand. I don't know it off the top of my head because I'm not on Facebook, so I'm waiting for it to come by on the ticker. So bear with me 1 second. Facebook is just On the Capo Stand as well. Every Monday We're live 9 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. We are also on all your streaming devices, our streaming applications or websites that you can find, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I believe we're on iHeartRadio as well. As always, please like and subscribe. I'm not going to have a beautiful sign off like David does. I'm not as poetic as he is. That Gene missed out on me, and he got my extra one. So thank you everybody for joining us. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. And as always, vamos Orlando.
So-